What's going on, everybody, man? Look, so this is the podcast 10. You know what I'm saying? This episode 10. And hopefully after this one, man, we're gonna get it a little bit more professional. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna be both in the same room, have a nice little setup. Um I'm waiting on Mel to get on right now, and we're gonna get this thing popping. He just hit me up. So the topic, we have a couple of new topics that we gonna come up with. Now, I want you guys to understand that we got a few different ideas that we're gonna do. I mean, we're gonna talk about all entertainment. We're gonna talk about some stuff, but we also gonna get political and deep also. As we've gotten older, we just gotten older now, and we see the world for how we see the world, or views and things of that nature, and our point of views. And there's nothing wrong with that. We both have our political views, and I don't really talk politics a lot with people, but this is my brother, and I've been knowing my brother for, I don't know, 15, longer than that. Hell, my son about to be 15. So wow, how long have I known Bill? About 18 years. Dang. You know what I'm saying? But and that's cool, man. You know what I'm saying? And that's my brother, you know what I'm saying, loving to death. And we just gonna go ahead and have our political debate on a topic whenever he hops on.
All right.
There we go. So yeah, man, I was just talking to the people, man, you know what I'm saying? And Hey, look, first of all, I have no idea what podcast this is, so I just said 10.
We just rolling now.
That's just a good number at this point, 10. And I was just telling everybody, you know what I'm saying, that, that I was tripping, man. I was like, damn, me and Melvin have been knowing each other that long, man. I was like, man, it's been almost 18 years, because Junior, he about to be 15 this year.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, damn, we old. Man, but I was also telling people, man, that that I really don't talk politics with people, but I felt like that this would be a really good conversation to have amongst brothers, and may see different views, but that's fine. You know what I'm saying? I think the world definitely needs different views, but it's about how you resolve those different views and how you come together on them, and handle the issue at hand.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I mean, same thing, man. Yeah, I don't really like to talk politics, but I think especially amongst our people, if we got inner turmoil and things that we have unresolved, then how can we relay a clear message outside of the family?
Absolutely.
If you got problems going on in your home and your foundation ain't right, how can you give advice to get somebody else's foundation right? So I mean,
exactly.
it's definitely a good conversation to have, man.
Absolutely, man. So, like I said, man, I only got about an hour. Man, tomorrow's my anniversary, brother, and wanted to just kind of kick it with the fam tonight, man. You know what I'm saying? Chill out. So I'm going to, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna give this one about an hour. Hell, I want to talk about that list, that Tupac and Biggie list, man. Yeah, it was, they doing the versus thing. So they had the Tupac joint up versus the Biggie joint. Boy, hey, look, it just seemed like a good time, bro. I ain't give a damn who won.
Now, I ain't seen this yet, but
podcast 11.
Exactly.
So, man, you kick it off, man. I want you to kick this one off, brother, because you was the one brought this one up. I know you seen my statuses on Facebook, and I would love to talk about it.
Yeah, man. So I mean, basically, and it's something that I've seen for years. It's something that we always talk about. It's something that especially within the community, we always bring up, which is everybody's always talking outside and telling everybody else that Black Lives Matter, and people always bring up Black on Black crime, like always. And I mean, justifiably so. I understand, the many different viewpoints on it. So you gotta somewhat bring that up as well. And I think I was like, man, let's sit down, let's discuss this, and let's really see where this whole thing has come from. So I mean, I guess I'll kick it off on, and I was gonna do, like I told you on Friday, like I was planning to do like a bunch of research, man, and I was planning on bringing out all these examples and bringing out all these dates and being like, nobody here and nobody there, and I was like, you know what, I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna keep it very simple. I'm gonna make some very simple points, and I'm gonna let you just kind of figure out and discuss amongst yourselves how you feel about the situation, And I think that's just the easier way to do it. It's more organic. It keeps everything just flowing a little bit better than trying to argue dates, or even what I don't want to do is put other incidents or other horrible events against other horrible events and be like, who was worse?
Who's worse? Yeah, right.
Like they were, all horrible events are horrible events. So
right.
That's one thing we got to stop doing, is comparing stuff. That's bad. It's just that's
it's just bad.
Yeah. So simply put, when we talk about black on black crime, you can't speak on it without really talking about redlining first. And for those who don't know what redlining is basically the way they set up jurisdictions between the suburbs or your white neighborhoods versus your hoods, your ghettos, way back in the day. So, the better neighborhoods would get all the funding and things like that. And, the Wegmans would come over there and, it would bring up the property value, while the hoods would get all the defunding and things like that, because we know that when it comes to like schools and education, those things are funded by taxes. And we know the more money that you make and the better places that you live in, the more taxes you pay. Right. So that, boom, systematically, that's how that works. So we were all bunched up in this one place. And if something happens, then most likely it wasn't going to be somebody from a rich neighborhood that kills you or fights you or robs you. It was going to be one of your own. We were basically put in a position to scratch and survive, and we basically would do that to each other. Like, you didn't have any access to really go to the richer neighborhoods and start acting a fool, because you get killed quick. That they would take that situation real fast on you.
Right.
You could act a fool in your neighborhood. You can
don't care about your neighborhood.
Yeah, exactly.
We ain't never come to your neighborhood, no way. So we don't care.
Exactly. Right. That's what those neighborhoods was for you to go ahead and act a fool and tear up your own neighborhood and never succeed out of those neighborhoods.
Right.
And then after, and like I said, again, I'm not going to get into the dates and things like that, but let's just say redlining did stop. Redlining is illegal. They do have measures put in place, like the Fair Housing Act and things like that, to prevent redlining. To prevent somebody, if you go and you fill out a house application, for the bank to be like, oh yeah, so what race are they? What's going on here? Right. They put things to prevent that. And then they also have, even when you sign for your mortgage and things like that, they will go over that with you. Was it fair?
When was that put into place? Do you know?
Now, that was around like 1956.
Right. Now,
it was not too long ago. Like, when we talk about these numbers, and I know, like, when people think about, like, what was it? Civil rights was like 1963 or 62. This is not things that are
64. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. This is not long ago at all.
Right.
So these are things that it has to take time to build, and it's a system that has already done its job. And that's the thing that a lot of people don't realize, is the system has done its job long after you tried to go against it.
Right.
If at the base of the foundation is racism, then you can fix up the windows, and you can repaint the walls and you can tear up the carpet and put hardwood floors in, but the foundation is still there.
Absolutely.
It's still the same foundation.
Right.
So, I mean, that's one of the big things we got to remember is the population, who's around, you know. And then another thing we got to remember is one of the biggest things for me too is I feel like black on black crime is almost like a trademark that people use to justify crime in lower communities because crime happens everywhere. I hear about mass killings, mass shootings everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not by black people. Most of these mass shootings, most of these mass killings, most of these serial killers and stuff like that are not
They're not black. They're not black. And I agree with you.
And when we see things like that, though, when it's not a black person, you don't hear black on black crime. You don't hear white on white crime. You know, that's I never hear uh you know, a mass incident happened, involved a bunch of white people, and they're like, oh my goodness, I'm so tired of this white on white crime. I am sick of it.
Well, let me ask you this question, and let me get into my bag about this. Now, as far as I'm gonna take it back a little bit too, with the redlining and things of that nature, the reason they were able to do that type of stuff was because before all of this actually happened, black people were making just a lot of money. We were very knowledgeable. We were very smart. We married at a higher rate. Before, let's say before the 50s and 40s, they married at a higher rate. They had better credit, things of that nature. There were even times where white people had to come to the black areas to borrow money. And that was not something that they wanted. And I don't want to dig too deep into that because I want you guys to understand one thing. I love my white brothers and sisters. I ain't got no problem with them at all. I ain't got no problem at all. That's not what this is about. We're just educating at this point. But with that being said, what was set in place was something that detrimentally hurt the black community for a very long time. And I believe that we started to understand it not that long ago. Not that long ago. We accepted everything that happened, like the redlining and things of that nature. We may not even known what it was at the time because I had no idea. I didn't know what it was. I knew what it was, but I didn't know the naming, the wording of it. Told me. I was like, oh, yeah, I know exactly what that is. But you got to look at the 60s and the 70s. You took fathers out the home. You took, you put black women on welfare. You did all of these things, and
you massacred all black self-sustaining towns.
Thank you. The most famous one is shoot, help me out, brother.
Was it like Kansas or
Tulsa, Oklahoma? That was the most famous one. So what ended up happening is that you basically they did their job. Their job is still working today. You still see it online. You still see all of this stuff going online. And I'm gonna tell you why I feel like the whole black on black thing is kind of true. The reason why I feel that way is because when I look on the news, I don't see, and don't get me wrong, I do see it sometimes. Do not get me wrong. I see it sometimes, but I don't see a bunch of white people just killing everybody. I don't see it. I looked on YouTube, World Star the other day. I'm just chilling, dude. I have not. All I've seen was death, murder from my peoples, and I just don't understand why. And I think that a lot of times we get to a point where we get sensitive to words. We get sensitive to what makes us feel good and things of that nature. I don't care what it's called. You know what I'm saying? I just feel like it needs to be fixed. Now, I know for the sake of the video, we're going to talk about it, but I don't care if you called it nigga on nigga crime. It still got to be fixed. It's one of them things. We get very close to our hoods. We love our hoods. This is where we're from. This is what we love. But our hoods create a lot of death and destruction. We celebrate, and I don't want to go too far off topic, but it fits all into this redlining and the crime and things of that nature. We celebrate our drug dealers somewhat. We praise Jay-Z for being who he was. But is that something we want to teach our kids? No, that's not something we're going to sit. I'm not going to sit back and teach Dallas Jr. and Layla this. You see what I'm saying? So I look at it as like we didn't have a choice, or maybe our choice wasn't, we weren't presented with much offerings to the world. We were presented with much of entertainment offerings. You want to be a rapper, you want to be a basketball player, you want to play some football, you want to do some things like that. We weren't presented, or we wasn't given the same opportunities. And that happens to be with redlining also. So when I look at certain things on these internet shows, or when I look at certain things on the news and things of that nature, and all I see is us doing this to each other, what does it matter what we call it? That's
very
just
true.
That's another dead brother. That's another dead sister.
Very interesting point, and very true. Like, and I'll take it a step further. It's not just, another dead brother, another dead sister. Crime is crime. And innocent lives is innocent lives to me. If you die, I don't care what color you were, black, white, Asian, Hispanic, like you. If you died for something senseless, then it was wrong and it should have never happened.
Absolutely.
But when we talk about the news, especially when we talk about the news, I take a look at, who owns the news.
Absolutely.
And I take a look at, why is black on black crime emphasized or publicized so much? Why is the things in the black community emphasized when we look at things and we're like, oh, we look at the Jay-Z's of the world, because that's who they put at the height of things. That's who news and people like that give so much emphasis to, that it looks like that is what represents our culture. And I think a lot of times media is a good way to spin things that I mean that's for anybody who doesn't watch. Like, if you're not in the know about things and all you do is watch the news, then the news has you believe in whatever the news wants you to believe. Absolutely. Because the news has one job, and that's to make things interesting, so you show up the next day and you rewatch some more bullshit. Like, they want to make sure that you're captivated enough and you like, oh my goodness, it's dangerous over here. Right. Because the news told me that this is what's going on here. And I'm terrified. The news told me that all black people are like this, and they're all rappers and they're all selling drugs. So that's one huge thing is what's shown to the media, opposed to actually what's really going on. Because
well, propaganda is definitely something that that the news and that those media outlets did way back in the day. I mean, to the birth of a nation stereotype black men forever.
Mm-hmm.
The original birth of a nation. I know you know what I'm talking about. I'm just speaking to our audience at this point.
Definitely.
That stereotype black men forever. You know what I'm saying? So when we look at it on that level, man, I think that it's all about us at that point. So so do we look at each other as just niggas? Do we look at each other as, that I'm scared to be around my own people sometimes, because the stereotype has gone through these generations and have gotten here to us. Let me tell you something. I'm just being honest. I'm just being honest. If I walk into a store late at night and it's too many. Let me get on up out of here. This don't even look right. The problem is, the sad thing is, I wouldn't feel that way if I was around, if it was more white people in line. I wouldn't feel that way. Now I'm not technically from the streets, but I grew up in some street shit. And I know how to maneuver. I know how to maneuver in ways of that nature. What I'm saying is that there, if my wife wants to go to the store, I don't, and I don't feel like going, but she really wants something, she doesn't go to a certain store. You see what I'm saying? She won't do that because she feels unsafe. So if we feel that way about ourselves, man, like that shit, that's pretty sad.
Yeah.
That's sad. But that is what propaganda and the media have constructed. Now, I'm gonna ask you this. World Star Hip Hop is owned by Black people. I'm sure some white people in there at some point, but it was created by Black content creators. People. And they're known for whooping somebody's ass. World Star, nigga getting his ass whooped.
Oh yeah.
So well, do we put this on ourselves also?
We definitely have to. Like anybody who creates content, things like that, like you're a part of, and content creators are always a part of two groups to me. There's people who really want to make a change. They don't care about the money. They're out here just trying to put things out to make more people knowledgeable. And then there's other people who are like, I'm about the dollar sign. I don't care about morals. I don't care about what's going on. I'm about the dollar sign.
Right.
And like World Star Hip Hop is one of those places to me. Like you would never go to World Star Hip Hop to uplift yourself. And I think that every person who ever has went on World Star Hip Hop knows this. They don't go to World Star Hip Hop and be like, let me check out to see what's going on in Uganda with that crisis. No, you go to World Star Hip Hop like, let me see some fights and let me see some ass. like you going with nothing. That's it. World Star Hip Hop is the new BET Uncut. You know what you're coming for. That is like, all you coming
for.
Exactly. Just ratchet entertainment. So they doing what they doing. They know it. Right. Like they is there for the almighty dollar. And and that's on them, and a part of it is on us because that's what we feed into. We constantly go there, we constantly watch, and it's just like anything else. Like people always complaining like, oh, the Apple always gives me the same thing every year. But if you always are buying the iPhone, then guess what? They're gonna keep on getting it to you.
Exactly.
That's the same thing.
You're correct. Absolutely.
If I can make $1 million by repackaging the same thing and re-giving it out to somebody and you still buying it, shit. Man, I'm like Jordan.
Let me put an extra camera on this phone. There, bud.
Sure, how many times have we bought the same pair of Jordans? They done came out with the 2012,
I can't tell you how many times I bought the Breads.
Exactly. Them Bread 11s that came out at least 6 times now.
Right.
So sheesh. And we still like, I'm gonna go and do it.
Yep.
They said they added actual little widow peak and patent leather's supposed to be more leathery and patiny. So I'm gonna do it this time, but this is gonna be my last time. And those are things that really start to get into it. Until we and deep, we all think of like, we all break down into groups. Every person has like some type of gang mentality, and when I say that, it's whatever you feel like you're a part of, you automatically feel like you can't be a part of anything else, or you automatically feel like you have to oppose something else. So, let's take, if somebody likes a football team, the Washington football team. I was going to use that as an example, but that's the real name.
You have to do them like that.
That's the real name. That's not me, but I was trying to make up a name, but damn. So let's say the Dallas football team. Shoot. Let's go with that.
Dallas Cowboys.
Exactly. So if you a fan, you automatically feel like forget every other team. Yeah. It's automatically kind of like an animosity as soon as somebody mentions that. And it's been happening. These things happen your whole entire life. You go to a certain school. You're on the basketball team. You went to Garfield. You don't like Hilton. You go to Hilton. You don't like Forest Park. You know, yeah. Like these are gang little mentalities that you always feel like you have to one up or be better than somebody, and you can't just be like, oh yeah, we all go to high school.
And I respect, and don't get me wrong, what I respect about, you know, one of these elements that you didn't mention, which is competition. I have no problem with competition. You know, I love competition. So it kind of like when me and you play basketball, my mission is to beat you. I want to beat you. You know what I'm saying? So that's not a problem. I think I do understand what you're saying. I get it. What my problem is with all of this is that the mentality of black people, which understandably is just completely different of white people. And I feel that we harm each other at a higher rate. I just feel that way.
And see, I feel like you feel that way because it's broadcasted that way to a lot of like we and like you said, I mean, it's a lot of some of the stuff that we ourselves put out. So like if you listen to rappers, you know, like that's one of the biggest things I've noticed growing up is that I'm opposing rapper opinions a lot. Like back in the day, I used to be out here, young, catch a nigga slipping. Mm-hmm. Get him when he's tripping. Like I'm out here, like
right
now. I'm like, young, that person was working hard for his money, and you can't do the same, so you got to go rob him.
Right.
You know, like that's and you know that's what we hear in music all the time, and we're like, oh man, that may be the wave. You know, robbing, jacking. Mm-hmm. You know, like, and that's a part of us. You know, that's a part of our. And what's funny is the people that tell you that though, they're not doing that no more. You know, they don't grew up and grew out of it. You know, but it's so deep and embedded into our culture. It's like anything else. You know, it's been embedded in our culture for so long that people just assume that that's what Black people do.
Well,
and then you keep on seeing, and then you have the media and stuff that keeps portraying this same thing. But shoot, white people rob white people. And white people rob white people on a higher scale. I'm talking about Ponzi schemes. I'm talking about for millions. We robbing Tyrone down the street for $20 and a Snickers. They out here robbing corporations. 500 million. 2 billion. That's robbery. That's some robbery right there.
But robbery is robbery.
But stuff don't be hitting the news like that.
But robbery is robbery.
Yeah, robbery is definitely robbery. But everybody robs everybody.
And what I feel like, or not feel, what I know is that when you are amongst your people, those people will be hit the most. You know what I'm saying? If I live, you know, if all I have around me is Black people, then of course I will be, you know, Lord forbid something happens to me, but you know, you would rob this person or kill this person in your area. I get that. I get it. and I think that my problem is, man, is that regardless of what it is, I feel as if we get a little sensitive to wording. I think that we just need to call a spade a spade. You know, I'm not here to, you know, to give pointers on how to fix things because I don't know where to start with that. But it's just like, it's just like having something in your neighborhood. And I'm gonna jump over to this a little bit. It's like having things in your neighborhood where, you know, that something new comes into your neighborhood and it's a good thing. Basketball court over here, right? But then I'm out here cleaning up the glass from the bottle that somebody then broke because they want to drink on the court. But sorry, something popped up. But I'm out here cleaning up the glass, but nobody else is doing that. So my thing is that I think that it starts from, you know, like from myself to my children. They saw their dad get out there and keep that neighborhood clean because I have respect for my neighborhood. I love my neighborhood. You see what I'm saying?
Definitely.
And I feel as if that just has to be something that the black community has to get together and start doing those types of things. We can't be out here, expecting, we can't be out here saying Black Lives Matter, but then it's black murders, it's murders, dirty ass communities, shit like that. I mean, I don't get it. I mean, when does the black life matter? When does it matter? Does it matter when a white person kills them? Because that was something I was going to bring up in Chicago and in Louisiana, I think. Excuse me. Both of those places shot up and killed people at a funeral. They were at a funeral. Somebody already dead. These Negroes come back to just kill everybody else that was there. So when does it matter? And I understand that these talking points are not something that, that is a popular talking point. I get it. I'm not really, I know that I have a lot of conservative views. I get it. And I would say that I think that some people really do have conservative views. I believe that, because nobody wants to sit around and just say, oh yeah, if it ain't black people, if it ain't a white person killing the black person, I don't care. No, that's not what people are saying. But at the end of the day, that's when we make the most noise.
Now, I see your point again, and it's a great point. But let's say, like, I think the mentality is that, and it's hard to erase things that you've been seeing for the rest of your life. But if you are this when do Black Lives Matter? Let's take that same instance in Chicago and let's turn it around, and let's say if it was Don Corleone, that he got shot, and then at his funeral, fucking Paparizzi came through and his boys and sprayed the spot up. It's still the same tragedy, but there would be no white on white crime. There would be no Italian on Italian crime. It would just be a tragedy. It would just be innocent lives lost in senseless acts of violence. Which
and I agree.
Same thing when it's black. Like I get, like, everybody, like I'm the person that's always thinking about, like, I see these things where, like, people are like, oh well, what has Michael Jordan been doing for the community? And I'm like, okay, that's cool. If you feel that way, then guess what? You don't have to buy Jordans. You don't have to wear Jordan apparel. You don't have to do anything that Jordan is involved in. But keep in mind that you wasn't out there shooting in the gym with Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan don't owe you nothing.
Thanks.
As a person, you got to work hard and you got to go get what you got and not get any handouts from anybody else.
Thanks.
And I mean, that's not community. That's not, oh, Michael Jordan's not being a community player. It's Michael Jordan worked hard for his money. Why don't he get to enjoy the fruits of his labor?
Facts.
Now you could do the same thing that Michael Jordan did, because Michael Jordan was out here straight and narrow. Michael Jordan was out here watching people do drugs, watching people not come to practice. And Jordan said, nah, I'm gonna just fall back.
Mm-hmm.
Just focus on my craft and make sure I stay straight and narrow and do this and make sure my career is straight. I mean, he didn't come from a rich family. Like, we all have these things where we talk about community, and community is great. And I definitely think that we should all be striving to it. Like people always say, it takes a village, and we should always strive to be a leader in that village. You should always strive to contribute something, but the village got to do for itself too.
Facts.
You can't.
Yeah.
And I mean, and
we're kind of saying the same things, just in different talking points. Because, in my opinion, all I'm saying is that we have to come. The village has to do for themselves, which means that the village should have got their ass out there and cleaned up that area also. You know what I'm saying? It shouldn't have just been me out there doing that. We
Mm-hmm.
should come together and say, okay, we finally, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't live in a bad area, but I mean, they put a nice ass basketball goal. You know, we play over there. You know what I'm saying? It's nice. So keep it nice. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying. And I think that for myself, what I have done is started to hopefully instill that into my children and say, okay, you know, my dad did this, and let me continue to do that, and so on and so forth. Because if you know, one person may see you doing that and be like, all right, you're right, yeah, okay. I done my job on here on earth. I've done it. You know what I'm saying? I've got one person to do that. I just really feel as if that me personally, man, it may be what's presented to me. It may be what's presented to me. It may be from the news. It may be from, I'm just using World Star as an example. It may be from YouTube or just random, you know, we get those videos on Facebook sometimes, and, you know, it just be some stupid stuff or whatever like that. And if I'm presented with that every day, then that's what I see every day.
I think also we have the reverse effect a lot of times too. Like if you see, like, I'm pretty sure a lot of people saw you on Facebook cleaning up the glass, right?
Mm-hmm.
They didn't think, oh, every Black person cleans up glass. They didn't think, oh, they think this one guy, the few, is actually trying to take care of his community. This one guy is trying to take care of his community. But if it's one person, one Black person, and as soon as they do something negative,
oh yeah,
then we spoke for everybody.
Absolutely,
all Black people.
You are absolutely correct.
It's all of us.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. But that takes me back to my point at the beginning when I said Birth of a Nation. Birth of a Nation set up Black men's lives forever. We're always considered rapists, criminals, thieves. You know, all that.
Not taking care of your kids.
Not taking care of your kids. All of that. And I tell the story all the time that, you know, me and my girlfriend then, wife now, we weren't gonna be together. But when she was pregnant, I said, man, I'm not gonna leave this woman with my son. Fuck that. You know what I'm saying? We can work, but we gotta work out. That's another story for another day. But what I'm saying is that, you know, you gotta stand up as a man. And I know that there are plenty of Black men, especially in my life, that I know be right there in the community, right there with their kids, right there taking care of their wives, all that shit.
Yeah.
So I know that it's there. But you know, even in the 80s with the whole crack epidemic and all that type of stuff, you know, they set up all Black men then. You know what I'm saying? To be this way, or Black women also. You know, this is who they are. Look at this. Look at these people. But these are the same people that later on in life got a whole show, Breaking Bad, about meth, and that's cool. We love Breaking Bad.
Oh yeah.
So
it's cool because they love it. What we always say, people love the culture. They love it. They can't get enough of it.
Mm-hmm.
I was watching Hamilton on Disney Plus the other day, and I was like, man, this dude is spitting. How come people don't feel this way about rap like they feel about Hamilton? Hamilton is all rap.
Funny thing, real quick. Funny thing about rap, and that's funny you say that. We look at rap as something that's just like, okay. Now it's a little different. You know, it's more pop and it's more mainstream, and so it's a lot more accepted. It's the number one genre now. But I remember when I was watching something a while back, and you know, they were talking about how Rolling Stone and Kiss and all these people, old as dirt, still on the road, doing their thing, still on the road. And then somebody said, well, why is it when Jay-Z wants to go on the road and do something, it's a problem? He's looked at.
You was having this conversation.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, we had this conversation, but I think when we had it, I started to elaborate on that, and I was like, that's some true stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Because
And
I ask you, like, how come is it when older black men are still rapping, then it's like, yo, he need to give it up.
right,
He been rapping for too long. He too old to be rapping.
right.
But these older bands and stuff like that, if Metallica hit the road right now, Metallica finna sell out.
Boy, I'm going.
If Korn hit the exactly,
I'm going.
if Korn hit the road right now, I'm finna be a freak on a leash.
Man,
I'm
what?
finna be out there.
I'm out there. I'm with you.
So I mean, like, why don't we? And that's the type of energy that we have, man.
But we also are living in a land, brother, that wasn't for us. These laws and stuff that were set in place. I love the documentary of 13th Amendment. 13th, it's called 13th. But talked about the amendments and all that stuff. And me and Junior have sat here and watched that thing probably like 4-5 times, man. And as I started to watch it more, I picked up on more and more things. Because when you first watch, you're just watching it as a show. When you watch it again, you're watching it as like, I'm studying now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There are so many things and so many laws that were set in place for us to not move. We can't. When we start to own properties and stuff like that, man, we're actually blessed. We're blessed. You know what I'm saying? We figured it out. You know what I'm saying? But none of that stuff wasn't for us. Like you said, man, the whole Housing Act and I'm sorry about the redlining and things of that nature.
Yeah.
If things hadn't changed, we still would be in probably in a worse situations than I think that we are in now.
Oh, yeah.
We fight for justice and things of that nature, and I'm not going to really touch on the Black Lives Matter thing or whatever, but I really do feel, or even more, but I do feel as if you got to have organizations of some sort set in place to help the minorities out. We have to have something set in place. And I think that some things have been good for us, but I also think that some things we take advantage of. And I just think, and Melvin, I mean, I just want us as a people to do better. And we can't keep making excuses for, well, it was like this and it was like that. And then, but then, okay, well, when you figured out that it was like this and it was like that, what do you change? You're not going to change anything overnight. You can't change person overnight. That's not happening. But when you start to get that knowledge, now you got to use that knowledge. You know what I'm saying? And I get it. You may not want to go to, you may not want to go work a 9 to 5. You may not want to do that. That may not be something that you want to do. But start your business. Start some things up. Get your money the legal way.
Yeah.
Don't rob your brothers and your sisters. And I also another thing, and I'll shut up real quick. But also another thing I feel is if we need to stop talking about other races. I think that we have to stop doing that because that's their conversation. This is our conversation. We as Black people have to have a conversation. Not bringing what they're over there doing. We don't speak on white crime. We speak on Spanish, Hispanic and all this. That's fine. We need to talk about us. This is our community. And if we don't clean it up, we won't have a community. That's just how I feel.
I would say if anybody takes anything away from what I say today, I would challenge people to step away. And I want to choose my words very carefully when I say this, because I know people are going to go crazy on me. But not so much as like step away from the community. If you love your culture, you love where you're from, that's one thing. You can always keep that, never change that. You know who you are. But I want people to step away from your mind barriers. if you're talking to somebody and you're talking to one of your friends, and let's say I'm gonna call him Marcus. Let's say Marcus, you're talking to Marcus, and he's like, "Yeah, man." He's like, "Yeah, man. I'm
Nah, that me, Mr. Pot.
I'm out here, and selling drugs, and I got a new album coming out.
Right.
Hit that SoundCloud. I want you to think that's Marcus. That's not the black community. That's not black people. That's Marcus mentality. And we got to start separating ourselves, and we got to start separating some people from the community life, because that's not the community that they want to be in. We like it's I want people to start looking at it as more of like a Facebook, where we have communities of strong black people looking to do the right thing. They're in a group. Now we've got a community of other people that don't want to. They in a separate group.
Right.
Like it's more time for us to stop looking at, like, I don't look at black and white. I look at like right and wrong. Like it's not really a race issue. It shouldn't be a race issue. It's just right and wrong. You should know what's right, what's wrong. Like black on black crime. Like don't lump everybody in the same group and same category because one person over here decided to fuck up and ruin it for everybody. Like that was their actions. That's what they do. And I think in other communities, that's what they have. And I think that's what we so desperately are looking for, just equality from us being ourselves. Like you shouldn't have to represent the entire black race when you walk out of your house and you go do something, and you want to be involved in something. They shouldn't say, "Oh, Mac's involved in that because Mac is black. Mac's involved in that because that's what black people are involved in." They should say, "No, he's involved in that because that's what he studied. Those are his interests. That's what he likes, because he is his own person." And I think that we've been lumped up so much that we got to start to separate the ones who are toxic in the community. We got to start getting more of individuality. Like when white people go and they shoot up a school, they don't say all white people are crazy. All white people got mental issues. They say that individual there was struggling with things. That individual had problems. They not all together. And I think that's what really is unfair to black people, is that we represent everything. If you live in a good community and there's only a few black people, then guess what? You are the leading experts on black in your community. If you decide you're going to go outside, and the second you do something wild, you done spoke. Every neighbor that's not black is like, "Pooh, that's black
Told
people
you.
do. That's what
Told
they
you.
do." There goes the neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
That's what happens
Oh,
when you let black
and,
people get in.
and you're absolutely right. To reiterate on that, it's like walking on eggshells every day as a black man, a black woman, whatever. And I agree. What I think that the only thing that I feel like you and I disagree on is the wording of it. You see what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? I think that, and I think that when it all boils down, that's so irrelevant, that's so minute that
Yeah.
it don't even matter. Because the only thing that I care about is, making sure that, not even making sure, but I just want to see us seen in a different light. That's all I
Mm-hmm.
care about. Because, like you just said, we shouldn't all be lumped in together. I do a lot of nerdy shit. You know what I'm saying? I am a geek, bro. Like, seriously. You know what I'm saying? But that's not considered black.
Yeah.
That's not a black thing. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely totally understand what you're saying, bro. And I agree. I definitely
And
agree.
that's why it's also, and it's hard for us to use like the words like community and things like that, because when you say like community or group, you know it makes other people feel like they can't be a part of it. You know, like I've seen things where, you know, we'll do something. People are like, is it okay for us to? Yes, as long as if you joining in and you ain't got no ill intent, yes, it's okay for you to join in. Feel free.
Right.
You know, we can all celebrate one thing without having to feel awkward or having to feel like, oh, I don't belong in this, or that's their thing, and we can't be. And I think that's why a lot of people still feel like they don't speak up when they see injustices going down. You know, if things are going to change, it has to be from outside of the Black community as well. Everybody's got to be outraged. Everybody's got to move from black and white to right and wrong.
I agree.
And when people can start to do that, then I think we'll start making strides on where we want to be.
I agree.
You know, when people start speaking up for other people, you know, in every community, then we'll start to really get where we want to go, not as Black people, but where we want to go as a human race.
Right.
Where we want to go as people, period. You know, like instead of black and white, right and wrong, human decency. You know, and that's fair equality right there.
In the Google Home app.
And that's where we want to be.
Yeah, you are absolutely right, brother. I totally agree.
Sure. Turning the Roku on.
I totally agree, man. I like I said, man, I think that, like I said, I don't really feel like what we're saying is so totally different. It's just the wording. And I just feel like, you know, there's a lot of what I see the community, I see us as, you know, and this, and I see a lot of great Black men, man. I see a lot of great Black women, dude. I really do. You know what I'm saying? They're not, and this is also a problem. There's not a lot of medias that uplift that. You know, here's my thing. Here's one of my biggest things. We glorify ratchetness so much sometimes that when somebody does good, it's under the water. It's under the bridge. It's under the water. You don't hear about, you know, all of the things that's going on in the positive sides of us. You don't hear a lot of that. And who, like you said before, who controls the media? But why haven't we started our own media in that areas? You see what I'm saying? If we can start our own media, if we can start our own media in all the ratchet town, then why can't we start our own medias in that also? That's all I'm saying.
Right.
Yes, it may be, you know, I have no problem starting something. I mean, I told you before, man, we need to really get on the ball with a lot of stuff anyway. A lot of stuff coming up, you know, good things for us and everything. But I think that's something that needs to be explored and talked about also.
I mean, I agree. Conversations like this, like, let's see, you know, how many people will actually view content like this and how many people will actually share it. And I mean, I think that's the thing. We talked about it. The ratchetness sells, you know, the sex sells. The good deeds is boring. Don't nobody want to. Okay, he was out there and he saved 5 people from a burning building. I don't care.
Right.
Juicy J finna poke it like wet paint. You say no to ratchet hoes. Juicy J. I'm top put that on. Bands will make her dance. Don't nobody want to hear that. But that's what news like that get skipped over for.
I swear to God, man. So wrong.
That's what they want to see. You can be knee deep in a good book, about to figure out racial equality, and hear "Don't stop, pop that." You be like, "I'll be right back." I gotta go.
but you know what though? I mean, but that's just like I told me, Junior, and Dallas in the car, and I asked them all. I asked them both. I said, do you understand the difference between music and life? There's a difference. Now, for people like us, we grew up like when we listened to music, that was life, damn near. That was damn near life. What them folks said on the record, shit, you couldn't tell me nothing. You know what I'm saying?
Like
but
Illmatic, Jay-Z Volume 1, Life and Times.
Come on, man. Hey, man. You know I'm from the South. Mystic Styles, 36. Shit. In my life, man.
You can't tell me Project Pat want to speak truth. Shoot, I was out there like, he ain't never lied. That's just a meter broke. You don't know what you talking about. What? Anyway, them new Jordans finna come out. I'm like, all right.
Man, but you know, I definitely understand, man, where you're coming from. I don't think that I feel like this was a great conversation. I feel like that there is no real if you were on here looking for a answer to anything, that's not something that we normally do. We don't have the answer to it. We have conversations and topics about it to get the conversation started. And I think that's the only thing that we can do. Once the conversation gets started, it's on all of us to come together and reiterate on that conversation. How can we do this? You know, how can we make it better out here for us? And I think that needs to be the conversation. To be honest with you, Melvin, we have to talk about us. And I'm not trying to be mean or anything, but we have to fix what's going on with us. And because if we keep getting looked at. If we keep getting looked at as niggas, if we keep getting looked at as this, then how do we change that narrative? I mean, shit, sometimes, to be honest with you, man, they be proud to be niggas, to be called niggas. That's a flaw, bro. That's a flaw, in my opinion. Don't get me wrong, I've been young. You know what I'm saying? I've been young. I've been the one that wanted to be, you know what I'm saying, cool in the mug, hollering at all the girls, got the money in my pocket, but I'm 15, I ain't got no damn money. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? But I was an impressionable teen at that time. And I understand that it ain't just stopped because I got older. Older, mama. I know these knees feel old though. But yeah, you know, that's my standpoint on it. That's my talking points on it. I don't know how to fix it. I don't know. I just think that it takes time, and it will take time. And hopefully, with the unfortunate events of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, all of these people, man, we can keep on going on. At least a conversation can be started. At least a conversation can be started. And that's all I want.
Hey, I agree with you. I definitely agree with you. If anybody took away anything that we were saying today, I just hope they kept more of an open mind, or they had a broader outlook on things. You know, maybe they didn't know about redlining. You know, maybe that was something that was brand new to them. Maybe they didn't know about Fair Housing Acts. Maybe they didn't know about a lot of these things. So, you know, maybe they're like, you know, it just opens your mind. And that's what I want to do. Every time we talk on here, every time we listen to something, I want you to get a little bit more and more, break one barrier in your mind and kind of just get more from your borders and your conventional thinking of what you've been thinking and how life has been. And if you can do that, I'm telling you, like, you'll be a better person. You will be a better person. We've got so many things that you've just been accustomed to, and that's the way things are, you know? So, I mean, if we can, like, get away from, like, there was a great commercial that really makes me think about, like, the brain, the thoughts of how people see things, and how the people that go through it and the people that are it just regularly see things. I want to say it was like a Dove commercial or something like that. It was I want to say it was like a soap commercial or something like that, or a deodorant commercial, and they asked like a guy, "Hey, run like a girl," and guy was out here running silly. They asked another guy, "Run like a girl." Guy was out here running silly. They asked an older woman to run like a girl. And she was out here acting silly. And then they asked a little girl to run like a girl. And she
She just
ran
ran. She just
like a
ran.
goddamn track star.
She just ran.
She ran.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that's how people perceive her. And that's how she sees herself. I'm normal. I'm just running.
Yep.
I run like you run. That's it. We all people.
Right.
You got legs. I
I
got them
got legs.
too. I'm gonna run.
I made it, and that's funny.
You're
You
probably
say
looking
that.
at them like, how they running like this? What is
What
they
is
legs
the
broken?
problem?
Like, that's
I
not her
mean,
mindset.
I definitely get that because when Layla and Dallas race, I mean, Layla almost whooped Dallas' butt all the time. My little man. I'm sorry, Dallas. But
you fit to have them out in the street right now, Dallas. Wake up. Hit
right.
the street. Daddy, put this on Facebook Live.
Got me messed up.
Shade almost outrunning me.
Well, man, I definitely enjoyed the conversation, man, as always.
Definitely.
And like I said, like I said, man, I really want to get it to a point where we in the same place, man. I want to set it up, you know what I'm saying, put the microphones out and all that stuff, man, and really get that jump for real, because I got some interesting, and especially with the versus thing, man, with us being so deep into music, man.
Yeah.
We got to be talking about this now. Come on, man. We done missed a bunch of them. Man, they had the they had the Jagged Edge 112 jump. They done had the
DMX and Snoop already.
DMX and Snoop, man.
Manny and Scott Storch.
I think that was one of the first ones, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was one of the first ones.
So man, we didn't been behind, bro, and we
Nelly and Ludacris.
Yeah, no, it wasn't. It was Nelly. Was it Luda? Yeah, it was Luda. That was Luda. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was Luda. Man, we done missed them. We been talking about them. So, because the one I really got into was the Snoop and DMX, and that joint it was just a fun night, man. I ain't care who won, to be honest with you.
Yeah, exactly.
It didn't matter
the
to me.
Nostalgia things, man.
Songs, and you know what was? I'm not even gonna get into it because we can do a whole podcast about that. But
true.
What really got me with DMX, I had forgot about some of them songs. Like he pulled out that Rough Rider bag. I was like, man, put on that volume 1 right now, bruh. And my man Drag On, I forgot all about him. That was one of my favorites in that group, man.
I thought he was probably one of the best spitters out of everybody.
Thank you. Drag On was my guy. But anyway, we gonna do a whole joint on that, man. We gonna do a whole joint on that, man. But man, hey, look, I have no closing words. I just want people to start actually, listen to what it is that we say, and then go and do your own research. Research redlining. Research the Housing Act. Research all of these things that we talk about, because our job, I don't think it's not necessarily to break it all the way down to you. You got to use your mind too. You got to use your tool, which is this thing called the internet, and actually do your homework, and that's just how I'm going to end it, man.
And I mean, plus it's how we perceive things. So, the way you perceive something may be different the way I perceive something, and everybody that watches this is going to perceive it a different way. So, I mean, feel free, to leave your thoughts, leave your comments. Let's start up a good conversation. You may bring up something that we didn't even think about or we didn't look at, and that's just how we grow. That's how we grow as a people. Mm-hmm. That's how we become more open-minded, and and that's how we look at the world better. And I mean, that's what I'm saying. These conversations, man, are must-haves.
Absolutely.
I feel like we will put our foot on the throttle when something bad happens, and then all of a sudden it kind of subsides and we forget about it and things like that. And And I mean you can't do that. You gotta keep on having the conversation. You gotta keep on having the talks, and you gotta get to reach as many people as you can. So I mean, definitely, we would love to hear you guys' opinions. If you have, maybe there's something else that you guys would like to talk about, that's really close to you, a good topic. Let us know.
Yep.
We'll address it.
And one day,
maybe some like Q&A joints or something.
I was
where
gonna
we just
say,
go down the line and.
I was gonna say, man, that one day we should definitely, get it set up to where we can have a phone line open, and when we're doing lives, because this is not live. This is Zoom. So, but we'll get it to a point where we can open up the lines, man, and have people call in, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And, express your, your thoughts and and all of that, man. So, but if you don't have anything else to say, man, I'm gonna go ahead and end it, and we'll be back soon. When are you off this week?
This week, tomorrow.
That's it. Yeah.
Yep. Sunday, Monday.
All right. No Wednesday?
Damn.
Look, I'm off on Wednesday too, man. I was gonna play some ball and everything, man. Damn.
Oh, we're gonna ball on Wednesday, but it's gonna be like
later
6.
on.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, that's no problem. But anyway, guys, STGM Podcast 10. I'm out of here. Peace.